Dueling Dialogues is brought to you by our affiliates at IX Web Hosting. Click the banner on the rightleftchronicles.com to get up to 40% off your first year of the best hosting on the planet. Today's episode of Dueling Dialogue is brought to you by Saucy Eva. GMA's marinade is coming soon to a plate near you to gourmetize your meats and proteins. Coming to you from that once-forgotten artery that pulses through the center of the continental United States and into the heart of the Ozarks, Grace Matthews. Looking in from the northern border, our Canadian friend, along with his countrymen feeling the effects of U.S. political issues, Connor Murphy.
Welcome to Dueling Dialogues, episode 30. I'm Connor Murphy here with Grace Matthews. Hi, Grace. How you doing today?
Great. I can't believe we're at 30.
I know. Crazy, huh?
Awesome.
Things happen fast.
Yeah. Great. That's exciting. Another milestone. Yeah, we like that.
Yes.
And we forgot to mention last time, we're also on Blog Talk Radio now.
Right.
So that's exciting.
Yes, it is.
So we're all over the place. And we want people to remember we have the Right Left Chronicles and the website duelingdialogue.com.
Yes. The political aggregator.
Exactly. It's very nice. It makes it easy.
Yeah.
You know, one-stop shop for free.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing. Yeah.
What do we got for today?
Well, things aren't going so well for Hillary.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. The infamous Trump Dossier, which makes me think of a Dan Brown book, you know. I don't know why. Every time somebody says dossier, I think of Dan Brown.
I think of a leather I think of a leather briefcase for some reason.
Oh, it does sound kind of leatherish, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a sexy word, dossier, you know? I like it. But anyway, Hillary Clinton's not liking it today. Okay, Clinton and the DNC funded the infamous Trump dossier.
Whoa.
Okay. Now it gets better.
Uh-huh.
Originally, one of the Republican candidates, which is unnamed at this moment, started the dossier and paid for the research against Trump. That was by design supposed to find a connection between him and Russia, the collusion. Now, when this surfaced, this dossier, let's talk about the dossier for just a moment. Back in January, BuzzFeed released it.
Yeah.
Comey had already given it to the president in a briefing, given it to the former President Obama in a briefing, as if it was truth. Now, just to back up just a little bit, do you remember who gave the dossier to Comey in the first place, or to the FBI?
No.
John McCain.
Whoa.
Hello. This is like the best novel ever. Nevertheless, even Comey said, just a few weeks after the inauguration, the dossier was full of crap that wasn't true. Anyway, so we find out that when the Republicans started the research on the dossier, left the race, the Clintons and the DNC began funding its research. You know, it was opposition research, which is not illegal, okay?
Yeah.
However, the Clintons have to always screw around with things, especially when it has to do with money, okay?
Okay.
And instead of putting it on their ledger, opposition research like everybody else does, they hid it in attorney fees. Illegal!
Yeah.
They also did not come forward and claim it with the federal government. There's a whole lot of implications here with the dossier.
Holy
For example, if Obama's administration used it to unmask an American or to, in some way investigate an American for something that was in the dossier, that would be very bad. That would be very bad. Now, so remember what I said. I remember, and maybe I dreamt about this, that Comey said that the dossier was full of malarkey. Okay, that was long before he got fired or anything. Now everybody keeps saying that Mueller was assigned to the Russian collusion because of the dossier. So did we believe the dossier or not?
Here's a bit of fake news, by the way, if you want to read it. What if I don't get it?
I don't get it either. I mean, I don't get it, you know? So at the end of the day, it's so confusing. Now, the Podestas are involved here. They are very much connected to Russia, which eventually becomes the Uranium One issue. Okay? John Podesta has been with the Clintons since day one.
Yeah.
He is one of, if not Hillary's most trusted confidant. In fact, if you will remember, when the email situation first broke on Hillary, one of the complaints was, why, when she was Secretary of State, was she sending classified information and discussing it with John Podesta?
Right.
I'd like to say somebody answered that, but they didn't, because they don't ever have to answer anything. So John Podesta and his brother Tony have an agency, okay?
Yeah.
This agency is based out of Chicago, of course, and we all know what politics are like in Chicago. The fact is, we don't know. That's the big problem with Chicago. You don't know what's going on, okay?
Okay.
It's so freaky, and it's always layers and layers and layers. That's how I would explain it, of corruption, basically. Come to find out, Paul Manafort, who, my understanding, was the real reason we started the Russian collusion investigation and the special counsel, because he ran Trump's campaign for like 2 months. I don't even know if it was that long. And he does have connections to Russia. Okay, that it was believed, because him and Trump were somewhat close, I guess, in those 2 months, that Trump surely had some sort of collusion that went through Manafort. Well, guess who Manafort worked for before he worked for Trump? Maybe while he worked for Trump. The Podestas.
Oh.
Now, out of this Podesta relationship with Russia, basically came the Uranium One deal, where we sold 20% of our uranium stockpile to Russia. Now, something very interesting was pointed out to me, and that was that Putin has long since, probably since his time with the KGB,
right,
used utilities, aka power, as in, heating and cooling.
Yeah, not like the
And
other
Russia,
power.
Yeah, not like power. He uses that too, but to control places in Europe and some of the former USSR, states.
Right.
Or small countries. So the whole uranium deal with the United States was a natural for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Democrats earlier in the week were saying, but none of that uranium left the United States. Well, first of all, why would those guys want it if they couldn't get it out of the United States? Secondly, it did leave the United States. Perhaps not all of it yet. So there is a guy that is an FBI informant. He had been gagged, okay? He promises to let the air out of every balloon surrounding this Uranium One deal. The gag order has been lifted. He will be testifying before the House committee on this probe into the Obama administration's Uranium One deal that was headed by none other than Secretary of State Clinton. It has been said that one of the reasons this deal went down was to ultimately get the Iran deal to go through. And that Iran deal was very important to Obama. We will see what happens next.
Wow. That's like a movie.
Wow. Yeah, it's like the best book ever written. I mean, no wonder Dossier reminds me of Dan Brown. This sounds like a Dan Brown book. Put a little religion in there and some spooky stuff, and you've got quite a recipe.
Yes.
And we are keep talking about it, my friends.
Well,
keep talking.
As bad as it looks for Clinton, I feel a little bit of joy. However, I don't have a lot of hope that much is going to happen.
Well, I don't either. And in fact, she said today that she's very worried, Connor. She's so worried. She is worried because she believes that the Republican Party is imploding, as if that would upset her.
Right. Like she gives two shits. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That would make her happy. She'd be dancing in the street. And instead, she's still running around going, what happened? What happened? What happened? It's just, she just, that's what she says about the dossier. I mean, they wrote checks for $4 and $6 million. And she's going, what happened? I didn't know about it. What happened?
Right.
Thank God she's not president because she doesn't know anything.
Right. And, well, she's the whole reason that Trump is president. So that's how I feel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Had they put anybody else up, he might not be president.
Yeah.
So it keeps going. And you know what? This is it's just never a dull moment. We have a lot of breaking news and other news.
Good.
The sexual harassment situation just keeps going on and on and on. And I think that it is just, I don't know when it's going to stop. NBC announced journalist Mark Halperin is suspended pending an investigation into claims of sexual harassment by 5 women.
Wow, it just keeps happening.
Yeah.
Over and over.
And this is a first for NBC, at least. It's been Fox, it's been Hollywood, it's been Amazon, NBC. Very interesting. And I read the report. It does seem that he touched women. He was extremely inappropriate. Very, very sad. And again, my push is for women to take care of it when it first happened. Don't live with it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Don't. There's no amount of money that's worth that. Take care of it, nip it in the mud, and do not become anybody's victim. Hashtag nobody's victim.
Right.
Okay. Good news. Alzheimer's vaccine could be available in 5 to 10 years.
Sweet.
Thank the Lord. I read it. It really sounds promising. What you would do is you would take a vaccine, especially if you have a propensity genetically for Alzheimer's.
Right.
It would block that gene from manifesting, or that defect in the gene. For people that already have it, it could diminish some of the symptoms. So, nothing scares me more than becoming old and having Alzheimer's.
Yeah, and that's because you've been through life-threatening health issues like myself, and I always say this over and over. At the end, all you have is your memories. And with people with Alzheimer's or dementia, they don't even have that. They have nothing left.
Oh, I know. It robs you. You're just living. I mean, you're just existing, not really living. Good point.
Yeah, I just lost a friend to Alzheimer's, and
oh my goodness,
it was horrible to see him go downhill. So this is very good news. Very, very good news. Very
good, yes, and is very promising. Also, GM, this is such good news for GM. GM says their self-driving cars are quarters away, not years, quarters away from the marketplace. GM's self-driving features are the only ones that are before market. The stock is rising on that. All the others, including Elon Musk, are after factory features, which come with a lot of terrible implications because of warranties.
Right.
And so GM is ahead of the game. No corporate espionage here. GM kept it quiet till they had it basically ready. I am so happy part of my existence is on GM, so I should say that. I'm a GM person, so I've got to be honest about that, So
I'm a big
I have
GM
a lot.
fan.
Yes, I love GM. So, okay, Trump has also authorized a deep vetting for refugees entering the U.S. from 11 countries. This would be separate than the quote-unquote ban.
Right.
The airports are gearing up for it, and in fact, in several countries with several airlines, they will be vetting some of the people before they get on the plane to come to the United States.
Well, that's probably a better plan.
Yeah, so I do not think that's a bad deal at all. There are some complaints about it, but we've talked about this before. You've got to be careful with these refugees. You have to. It's nothing. It's not an offense to be cautious.
Exactly.
I mean, we all like to lock our doors, right?
Right.
At night, we don't want some criminal walking in off the streets and into our house. So we're going to vet that person before they walk in our house. We kind of need to do the same in our country.
Right. Well, currently what happens is they arrive in your country and then they get screened and turned away, but they're still in your country.
Right. And that's problematic for them, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, where are they to go? What are they supposed to do? Normally they don't have a nickel in their pocket. What are they supposed to do? And what is the country supposed to do without, going broke?
I guess they could live in the airport like Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, boy.
So,
the House barely passed a budget today. And I do mean barely. The Senate, the Senate wrote the budget. It went to the House floor. Several members were worried about the fact that state taxes may no longer be federal tax deductions. So a lot of those congressmen were very afraid to vote for it, afraid of retribution come voting time.
right.
It's a big deal. If you live in a state, I live in a state that has pretty high taxes. I mean, up front, it doesn't look like high taxes. It looks like about 6%, but there's all these different levels and things that get taxed at a different rate. I've really relied on that, being able to subtract that from my federal taxes. There's states that are much, much worse, like New Jersey, New York, and those congressmen were really afraid to vote for the budget because of that. So I'm anxious to see if, when they tweak it, they always talk about tweaking it,
Right.
whether that remains in there. The embattled IRS chief, John Koskinen, is out next month. He's the one that protected Lois Lerner and others as they targeted conservative groups and Tea Party also. They're both conservative. At the IRS. So I think the big surprise here is that it took so long.
Yeah, for sure.
Yesterday, in a strange situation, the UN Ambassador Nikki Haley was evacuated from a camp in South Sudan. It's been hush-hush since. I'm not sure, but very alarming.
Ooh, scary.
Not sure why the heck she was in a camp in South Sudan. Hopefully that will come out in a few days, and hopefully she's okay. The Vegas shooter's brother was arrested for child porn. Lovely family. Lovely family. Yeah.
What a piece of
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah. Fats Domino is sadly dead at the age of 89.
Aw.
Yeah, that's
that is
just
sad.
sad. Yeah. And 2 people were shot at Louisiana's Grambling State University. I really, really get tired of those school shootings. And I believe we have become much too relaxed about them. The big news today is that Trump declared the opioid crisis a public health state of emergency. Now, that will put into effect in 90 days, specific services and specific amounts of money.
Right.
Okay, there are those that are very sorry that he did not declare it a national state of emergency. which would have allowed more money, more services, and perhaps at the end of 90 days, he will renew this state of emergency. Maybe he will make it a national state of emergency. But the opioid crisis is terrible in the United States. Very terrible.
Terrible everywhere. And I'm not sure that banning fentanyl is exactly the answer, because they're going to start using carfentanil, which has already started to happen here in Canada.
Oh my goodness, what in the heck is that?
Carfentanil is 100 times stronger than fentanyl.
I mean, it's from a car? I mean, I don't even know where it's from.
It's the name of the drug.
Oh, okay. I get it. Like carfentanil, not carfentanil.
Okay. No, that's the name of it is carfentanil. So I'm not sure that banning fentanyl is actually the right answer. Plus now cancer patients are not going to have their meds. So, yeah, fentanyl is largely used in severe pain situations.
Yeah, I mean, I had it when I had that stone a couple of weeks ago in my gland. They gave me, the first thing they gave me is fentanyl. But I know that what he's concerned about is the fentanyl that's coming from China.
Exactly, yes.
Now, I don't know that banning fentanyl in the United States really affects what we're getting from China.
No, I don't think so. He did say
I
that
mean,
there would be...
I don't understand how that correlation, I agree with you on that. I don't get it.
I was hoping he was going to just legalize cannabis so people could get their pain meds in a safe fashion. But that didn't happen, of course. And
no, that didn't. I don't think he's the president that's going to do that, for sure.
No, not after today's speech.
No.
And Melania spoke again.
Yes, she did. And, she made a surprise visit to some children in, I believe it was in Michigan or something the other day. I mean, she's really, at first she was kind of, seemed to be hiding in New York, after he first took office. And it seemed like that his daughter was going to take over many of the duties that the First Lady might take over, but she has really stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, and she's very elegant, actually.
She is very beautiful, very elegant. And I think it is nice that we have an immigrant for a First Lady.
Yes.
I think that is nice.
Yes, an inspiration for young girls everywhere to find a rich guy.
I'm not sure I would have looked at it like that. I mean, I think she is really sharp.
Yes.
I mean, I'd like for her to be a little more happy. I admit that. But she's very serious. And she speaks 7 languages. And, she is quite the lady. She is a very classy lady. I mean, and I appreciate that. Jackie Kennedy was a very classy lady. The 2 Bush First Ladies, I thought, were very...
Yes.
Very neat ladies. And I do like women that like being women. I do like that, because it's okay to be a woman. We don't have to be ashamed of it. And we can still be tough, too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'd imagine she's tough as nails.
Oh, yeah, the spike heels. Ooh,
yeah.
Ouch.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And pulling her hand away every now and then, like from...
Yeah,
from
like you're not going to control me, babe.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I'll tell you when I want to hold your hand.
Yeah, I'm not your trophy here. Yeah, so I do have a lot of respect for her, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I agree.
Yes, I agree too.
We both agree.
Yes.
And we don't always agree, but life's a journey, and we're all in this together. Thanks for listening. Godspeed, Connor. Godspeed to all of our friends out there.
Godspeed, Grace, and thanks for listening, everybody.
Dueling Dialogues is brought to you by our affiliates at IX Web Hosting. Click the banner on the rightleftchronicles.com to get up to 40% off your first year of the best hosting on the planet. Today's episode of Dueling Dialogue is brought to you by Saucy Eva. GMA's marinade is coming soon to a plate near you to gourmetize your meats and proteins.